Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a few projects that I want to complete using my Cricut Joy Xtra. If you saw last week's video, you know that I got it for Christmas, so I'm trying to make sure that I get a feel of the new machine. So let's get into the video. So I'm going to start here. I have these acrylic bookmarks that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I am going to do 2 of them today. Basically, I just want to show you all what you can make with a Cricut Joy Xtra if you have one, or if you are interested in getting one. And of course, all of these projects can be done on the bigger machines, but as we know, not everyone has the bigger machines. So I am going to start here. I do have these 3 different pieces of vinyl that have to be weeded. This one is going to be super simple. It's just that. And then I'm going to do this one, which will probably be a little more involved. So far, I am liking the Joy Xtra. I am so used to the machines anyway, so it's not like it's a huge learning curve or anything. Obviously, if the machine was brand new to you, you never had a machine before, then there's some learning that will be involved in it. For me, the one thing I have to keep remembering is that there are no buttons on the Cricut Joy Xtra. When I go to press start, I always look at the machine and I'm like, okay, nope. You got to start it from your computer or your device, whatever you have it hooked up to. All right, I am just going to get these middles out of the word and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this just says bookish girly, and I missed one. There we go. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with this one. And there's a piece of, there's like a cover on here, like a film. So I'm going to pull that off. And it's on both sides. All right. I am not going to clean this because we literally just pulled it off. So it is fine. No need to wipe it off. And what I'm going to do is, all right, put this on here and burnish it. Okay, so this is technically going to be the back. So I'm going to put this on here, which is, like I said, going to be the back of the bookmark. And you could also do this idea with paint. But if you don't have paint or you don't feel like using paint, you can definitely just look up paint strokes or brush strokes in Design Space or wherever you get your SVGs from, and you should find something. And then we have it, then it'll look like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this same transfer tape and transfer the bookish girly . And then we're just going to go ahead and put this right here on the opposite side. So here's the side where the vinyl is. And I am going to put this right here. I'm just going to check it before I push it down. I want to make sure it's straight. Oh, it's already down. Okay, so I'm going to burnish it. And there we go. And what you could do as well, you can put someone's name instead of a saying. You can put a saying like I did here. So that's the first idea. Like I said, you could either do this with paint or you can do it with vinyl. Now this second one I have here, I am going to try to use this same transfer tape. I was thinking about reverse weeding this, but I am not going to do that. This is going to take some time to weed, so I'm going to probably weed this off camera and then come back once it is completely weeded. Okay, so as you can see, there was a lot of weeding to do with all these little holes and things that needed to come out of the butterflies. That's why I just thought it would be better to do off camera, but it looks great. This is 405, and this is their metallic blue. This blue is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. When I saw it in the store, I loved it immediately. So I am going to take the film off of this one here and off of the back. And I'm going to use that same transfer tape that I used before. And then burnish. Flip it over and burnish on the other side. All right, let's see if it will release. Okay. Gotta take some time. Take your time pulling it off. I don't want to rip anything. All right, there we go. Not bad at all. Actually, I want to pull it up here just a bit. Yes, okay. This is beautiful. That is beautiful. That, I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that metallic shine through, but it looks so good. Okay, I also have some ribbon here that I want to add to both of them. These don't come with any ribbon, so you would need to add your own. This is just some ribbon I already had on hand, but of course if you're making it for someone, you would want to coordinate the colors. So that's one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab this navy blue for this one. And both of the ribbon are from Michaels, but Hobby Lobby also has ribbon. You can purchase ribbon in a lot of places, actually. Walmart has it, Target has it. You can get it online. Okay. And then I'm just gonna pull this through here. And I'm going to cut these edges off here. And there we go. We have the bookish girly and the butterflies. All right, so that is project number 1. We're going to move on to the next project. Okay, so I have this glass here. This is just a stemless wine glass from Dollar Tree. Ooh. From Dollar Tree. And I have this red vinyl here. Now this vinyl is going to act as a stencil because we're going to do some etching in this project. So what I'm going to do is, instead of pulling off all of the negative space, I'm going to keep the negative space this time and take out all of the elements that I would usually keep. So this, what I'm pulling here, are the portion of the design that I would usually keep. So I am going to do that. Okay, so I have my design weeded, and this obviously is a V with a butterfly. All I did was go into design space and type in the letter V. And for these two, I just typed in butterfly, and I found basically an identical butterfly to the V. And actually, all of the designs in today's video were found in design space. Okay, so what we're going to do here, next I want to clean up my glass. So I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol and get this wiped down. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put my transfer tape right over everything. Now, take my transfer tape and put it directly over the entire vinyl. And then I'm going to burnish. And it comes right off. Everything comes off, and that's exactly what I want to happen. And then bring my glass over, and I'm going to put it right on here. Now with this, you want to make sure that your vinyl is flush up against the glass. We're etching, so it's going to be with glass. You would always be etching on glass. You don't want any bubbles or any breaks in your vinyl, because what will happen is the etching cream will seep underneath there and it'll etch an area that you didn't want etched. So you can do relief cuts. This is always difficult when you have like a rounded glass, so hopefully I'll get it all laid down with no problem. But I am gonna take my time to do this so I can make sure that this is done as perfectly as I can. Okay, so I'm pulling off the transfer tape, I did have to do some relief cuts. If I'm being honest, I feel like it didn't really help. It still, and like I said, it's always difficult when you are doing these curved surfaces. If you were etching something that was more straight up and down, it would not be as difficult. And the whole point is to avoid these air bubbles right here on the edge, because if you can see, this is lifted here, and I definitely don't want that to be lifted, because the etching cream will go right down in there and it'll mess up the design. It's not going to look the way it should. Okay, so I have this one on. I do have some areas where I'm a little concerned about the etching cream seeping through, but we're still gonna go ahead and tackle this project and, you know, hope for the best. I would say if you are trying to do something like this, maybe you would want to do yours a little smaller. Then you have less to worry about when you get to the rounded area. Yeah, that's what I would suggest. I am going to put one of these on. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put this one here, and then that's it. I'm not going to do both. So I'm going to get this on here, and then we're going to come back for applying the etching cream. Okay, so this one was much easier to apply. I am going to use some painter's tape just to cover the surrounding areas. So this is what I'm doing. I am going to do this and cover the surrounding areas. Okay, so we are ready to etch. I am going to use this Armor Etch that I got from Amazon. I believe they sell it in the stores as well, like the crafting stores. And I have a paintbrush here, a small paintbrush. Good practices would say to put on gloves. So I don't always do that when I etch, but I'm going to do it today. Just put on some gloves to protect your hands. And actually, I don't really need this one because this one is going to be holding the paintbrush. So just want to protect this one. All right, so what you're going to do is just get your cream out, and you're going to go ahead and put it in all the exposed areas. And you want to be generous with it. You can always put some of the cream back if you have too much, or when you're done, like, you can kind of scrape off some and, you know, do one of those numbers. But you just want to make sure you have that entire area that is exposed. You want to make sure it is covered with the cream. Okay, so both sides are covered with the Armor Etch. On the bottle, it says to allow it to sit for 1 to 3 minutes. Once it's done, what I'm going to do is go to my sink and wash all the cream off. And then I'm going to bring it back, and we're going to remove all of the painter's tape and the vinyl. Okay, so it's time to reveal this, see how well this etched. Of course, got to pull off all the surrounding tape. All right, now let's pull off the vinyl. All right, so I'm just wiping off some of the water that was there. It's still left on there, but this came out so good. Let's see. Starting with the V. No, I'm not. Can I do my hand? Yes. Look at that. It is so good. There are a couple areas on the edge here and here that have tiny imperfection, but nothing that is significant. And then let me show you the other side. All right, there it is. There's the butterfly. This side came out beautifully. And again, because it was so much smaller, we didn't have that much issue with the curvature of the glass. But even with the two tiny imperfections down here, this came out beautifully as well. I absolutely love how this came out. And what I've seen at Michael's, they have gold and silver buff. And if you use that, you can put it on there and it gives it a little more color. So I'm thinking about possibly putting the silver on there. Okay, I'm gonna clean up and bring in our last craft. So I have this ceramic candle jar from Hobby Lobby. Quick story time. I purchased this because I originally bought a candle from Bath and Body Works. The candle wasn't being used at the time, but it fell over and the glass broke. It shattered. But I love the candle. So I was like, I don't want to throw my candle out just because the glass shattered. It was intact. So I just picked up the candle wax, put it in a Ziploc bag, and waited until I finally got a candle jar from Hobby Lobby. What I did was I put the candle wax in a larger jar, glass jar, and I boiled water and then I sat the jar inside of the boiling water until it melted completely. Once it melted completely, I poured everything into here. So I was able to keep my candle. What I did do, I did not reapply the wick that came with it because I don't light my candles. I have a candle warmer that it sits under. So I just poured the candle wax in here and let it cool, and of course it hardened, and now we have a new candle. So I wanted to put something on it because it's very plain. As you can see, I have this design here, and again, the design, I typed it into Design Space and found what I was looking for. I think I'm going to, I'm gonna double up. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. Nope, I'm not gonna do that because I want to reverse weed, and I do want it to be one piece of transfer tape. So I'm just gonna cut this down here. Since this design is a little smaller, I do want to reverse weed so I can avoid any issues while weeding. Okay, so I have my design weeded, and it just says, "Let your light shine," which is a part of a scripture verse, Matthew 5:16. And I'm going to just go ahead and put this on this side. hopefully this sticks on here. It doesn't feel like it's grabbing hold of the blank. So let's see how this transfers. So let's see if this is going to stay, because right now it is not seeming like it wants to. But it could be one of those things where it will stay once the transfer tape is no longer touching it. Okay, whew. That was difficult to get off of there. You know, I do the difficult things, so hopefully you guys can learn from me and maybe don't do it, or at least do it with caution. So if you ever decide to put some vinyl on this ceramic material like this, just know you're gonna have to take your time. I also wanted to put this on here. So this just says Midnight Blue Citrus. That is the actual name of the candle that I purchased from Bath and Body Works. I was going to put it on the opposite side right here, but since it was so difficult to get on here and these letters are really small, what I'm going to do is put it on the top, on the lid. So at least I still know what the name of this candle is. I can see it with no problem. Like I said, it's on the lid. And this should transfer easily, at least a lot easier than it did on this part of the candle. Okay, famous last words, because it's not transferring. Oh my goodness. This thing really wants to give me a hard time. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I had the same issue that I had here, but it was just worse. It wasn't even trying to stick at all. But I do have a remedy for the lid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Mod Podge. So I'm going to squeeze a little Mod Podge on here. This is the matte Mod Podge. I don't want it to be shiny. Since none of this isn't shiny, the lid currently isn't shiny, so I just want it to stay matte. And I'm going to put it on the entire lid, even though obviously it's a small surface that the name of the candle will go on, but just want to make sure the entire surface has an even coat of Mod Podge. And I'm gonna let that dry, and the vinyl should stick to the lid once it's dry. Okay, my Mod Podge is dry. If you didn't know I put Mod Podge on here, you wouldn't be able to tell because of it being matte Mod Podge. Let's see if this trick works. I'm gonna put it right there in the middle, and then burnish. All right, let's see. I have a couple letters that need a little bit of assistance, but this is working. There we go. Yes, I'm so happy it worked. Okay, so once again, if you ever run into a situation like this where you're trying to put vinyl on wood, you can just put a little Mod Podge on your surface, and that should help remedy the issue of your vinyl sticking. I'm so happy that I was able to do that because I did want the name of the candle on the candle. So this is how this one turned out. It is so good. Okay, you guys, one last look at our projects. We have our bookmarks, the wordless one, and the bookish girly. We have our etched glass with my initial with the V and the butterfly on both sides. And we have our candle that says, "Let your light shine." I am so happy that they all came out good. We had a little bumps in the road, but we were able to get it all rectified, and it all looks so good. And remember, all of this was done with the Cricut Joy Xtra. So you can do those smaller projects with the Cricut Joy Xtra. And of course you can do them with your larger machines as well. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Before you go, don't forget to like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss a future video of mine. Until next time, later CV crew.